Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to give you an update today on eyeshadow palettes that I picked up in the last couple of months. There are also complete swatches of every single one of these palettes in the videos where I show them to you for the first time, so I will link those in the description box below as well. But let me just start with ones that I feel like if I hadn't had so much eyeshadow come in all at the same time, I would have used more. And it's these guys right here. These are the Holiday Petits from Viseart. There were 3 of them this year. I'm kind of glad they have been up to this point releasing 4 at a time. 4 in the fall of 2020. We had more in 2021, 4 more for the holidays. And then in 2022, we had 4 for spring. And I was like, I cannot handle 4 more Petits, but I also can't stop myself. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest and say I love this edited 4 size quad format so much. I think that the formula is really good for me. 48 years old, I have texture on my lids, but I still do love a sparkle. I love an easy to blend matte, and being that I'm not a professional makeup artist, I want something that, you know, with good tools and a good product is gonna make me look like my skills are a little bit more advanced than the reality. And that's what I find with these. I am wearing the one in Amelie today. I do have something else tapped over the top. I will show that to you in a minute. This is one of those palettes that seem like it's a no-brainer because I mean, look how pretty it is. It's a beautiful, easy, neutral, warm look. If you like those really pretty kind of warm leaning colors, they're so beautiful. But it's these guys right here that really kind of steal the show. Look at these. They're so nice. My criticism for this is I wish that these 2 mattes here were a little bit more different. I feel like they are different. So as you look at these 2, this one here is definitely warmer. This one, it's warm, but it's not like almost reaching a little bit orange. I have a neutral undertone, and this can get really warm. I have both of these in the crease, and I have both of these metallics on as well, and something with a little bit more sparkly oomph over the top. But I wish that either one was lighter or one was darker. I feel like they're kind of close, and when you blend them out on the eye, unless you're really packing them on, it's sometimes kind of hard to tell where one ends and the other begins, and maybe that's what you're looking for. A small gradation in intensity of depth, and that way it looks kind of like a seamless blend. I wish I had just a little bit more darkness in this, but I really like this. The one that I have been using the most out of all 3 of these is this. This is the Lila's Dew. So they came out with the original Lila's palette in fall of 2020, and it's a cool toned palette that has beautiful silvers and pewters and light, almost pinky lilac-y shades in there. So I feel like there are 2 shades in here, these 2 that are almost identical to what's in the original Lila's palette, and then it goes a really interesting warm way, and we do get some depth. Here's the original, and I feel like we didn't get as much depth and darkness in here. And I feel like, although this is beautiful on my fair skin, this is one of those palettes that didn't have enough range for people with richer skin tones, or maybe even medium skin tones. I felt like this kind of paley gray here and this kind of pinky lavender shade, although pretty, were very light and would look good on fair and maybe light skin tones, and then beyond that, would they be ashy? I don't know. I only know what my experience has been with this, and I love this palette, but I don't know how other people are gonna get this to work for them. Now, I feel like the metallics in here are gorge, and we're getting the same level of metallic. Look, I mean, these are just so pretty, but I like that we go cooler and deeper here. These 2 shades here are very similar to the 2 shades right here. I mean, if you look at them, I feel like this one, this metallic, is maybe just a hair deeper. They're not the same names. This is one of those palettes that if you have shades that are similar to this in your collection and you already have this, I feel like you can get the same look. Do I love this? Yes. This has become my everyday. I gotta go out the door quickly. I'm headed to work. I need something easy, something with no fallout, something that I can trust without putting down a primer because your girl's too lazy to use a primer on most days. This is beautiful. And it's also got the depth right here that I want, but it's not too much. And I was worried that these cooler tones and this weren't gonna work well. Oh no, they're gorgeous. Love this. Here's the last one that I picked up. This is the Violetta. I love this so much, but this is one of those that I have to do my eyes first. I do not have mad eye makeup skills, but this one here, because the colors are deeper, I feel like it's gonna suit a wide range of skin tones. But if I'm not careful, I get too much smoke, I get too much dimension. But the reason I keep coming back to this, and here's the part that surprises me, is this shade right here. Do you see how it has a little bit of sparkle to it? I don't always get the sparkle on my eye. I feel like this kind of blends out, but it's so pretty. And the other shade that I absolutely love in here, look, is this shade right here. It looks very blue, but in the right light, it kind of leans a little purple, has a little bit of blue to it. It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, but there is a lot of fallout with it. I'm just gonna blend it on the back of my hand. And it has some warmth to it as well. It's really pretty, but it's one of those that if I'm not careful, I have blue sparkle everywhere or purpley blue sparkle, and I'm just like, ugh. I feel like I've kind of been mentally reserving it for party looks or for other things, but this is really fun. But this one is for me because there is sparkle fallout from this shade. This is a little higher maintenance, but she's lovely. Remember I mentioned I tapped a couple of other shades over the top of that Viseart palette in Amelie on my eyes today. It's not really a palette. It's 4 singles that I put in a magnetic palette, and so I'm calling it a palette. But these are shades I picked up from Give Me Glow. I bought these during their Black Friday sale in November. They didn't arrive until December, but I have had a lot of fun with these. So this is what, I mean, look at this. This one here is the most subdued, but I mean, really, is it metal on my fingers? This one here, this one's beautiful. This one's called Gifts Galore. I love this shade, but I struggle with this shade. I mean, she's beautiful, but my problem really is I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And there's a lot of fallout with these guys. So these are the ones where I do my eyes first, and that's what I did. I tapped a little bit of this over the top of what I already had going on here, and it's not a lot, just a little bit. It brings a beautiful, fun level of sparkle, but look how insane these are. As somebody who is not a professional makeup artist, things like this, although they call to me, like all shiny things call to birds, these also come with, I need to respect this. If I don't do this just right, I end up with all sorts of fallout under my eyes. It gets a little bit overwhelming, but they're so pretty. I mean, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I couldn't help myself. I'm really glad to have these. I don't know that I need immediately any more Give Me Glow because I don't use these as much as I want to. I probably use them once a week. I can use this one for a single eye look because it is less sparkly and it has more of a, like a pretty metallic shine. And these guys look like, especially these two right here, like metal. And this one is not quite as intense. And it's also kind of like a cool taupey lavender shade. And it really does scratch that itch for my love of cool shades right now. And it's actually called Lavender Taupe. So these are really beautiful. This is Glamourous. This is Rose's Remix, Lavender Taupe, and Gifts Galore if you're curious. But these are fun. But boy, I have to be careful and I have to remind myself to do my eyes first and then go from there. Let's talk about these beautiful Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows. I bought all 5 of them when they launched in November. I've been so happy. I've been so happy, but I'm kind of curious. I started thinking about what I'm willing to do for this formula that I'm not willing to do for other formulas. Okay, I wanted to make sure it was clear. I'm gonna tell you what it is. This formula is beautiful. If I were to put this on the way I apply every other eyeshadow in my collection, which is usually skipping eyeshadow primer, these guys last 6.5 hours. Now, my work day, I get ready, I start putting face makeup on at 7 in the morning and I don't get home until 5:30. That's nowhere close to 6.5 hours. So on days when I know, hey, I've got a full day ahead of me, I've got to go to work, or I've got this big day planned, I've got a million things to do, I don't have time to touch up my eyeshadow, and I want to wear one of these, I put down an eyeshadow primer. But then I wonder, and you've heard me say it before, I don't like to put on eyeshadow primer. I don't even wear face primer. There's so many things I'm constantly like, couldn't be bothered, don't have time for that. But if I wear these, I love these so much, and the colors and the combos. I know I'm gonna be going all day. I pull out an eyeshadow primer. I'm like, who am I? Why am I willing to do that for Lisa and not other brands? And the minute other brands need a primer, I'm like, well, it needs a primer. I don't know. Obviously, I have a love affair with this brand. There are very few things that I am not like head over heels for. These, love. Foundation, love. Like all the, like the liquid Lurex, love. Everything that she makes. The lipsticks are my favorite lipsticks to wear. So I am wondering whether I'm willing to jump through the hoops that these require, because I already love the brand and I feel like Lisa can do no wrong. But then I think about it, wait a minute, why am I not willing to put on eyeshadow primer? The other thing I've had to do is I have an entire little mason jar here of synthetic brushes. The brushes I normally use are these guys. These are all my natural hair brushes. I have Sonia G, I have Wayne Goss, I have Rougher, and they're my favorite brushes. I love them so much. I'm like, I realized that these formulas, especially the mattes did okay with my natural hair brushes, but I got a better application and a better blend with synthetic. So I pulled out my synthetic brushes I had kind of put in a drawer and been like, love ya, you did me good. You know, your time to rest now. And that's when I realized, look, I'm pulling out different tools. I'm using a primer. Boy, I really want these to work. Part of it is they're $68 a piece. I know, at $68 a piece, they better be immaculate. And I feel like maybe that's why I'm willing to jump through hoops that I am not always willing to do for another brand. Okay, so out of these 5 eyeshadow palettes, here's the one I use the least. And I was sure that this one here in Muse was gonna be the one I used like the most, because it's warm neutrals. It's got some pink in it. I really loved rosy eyeshadows through 2020. The Velvet Muse lipstick is one of my most used, one of my top 10 faves. And I was like, oh look, there's an accompanying eyeshadow palette. It's gonna be my favorite. No. And it's not that it's not good, it's beautiful. I just reach for this one kind of occasionally. And it's because other ones have really, really been like so good and so versatile. This Myth palette is the palette I use second least. I'm not saying that I don't use it, because I use it all the time. And I'm usually in this shade here and all the ones across the top. Those are the ones I use the most. These 2 shades here are the reason that this intimidates me. I was sure this was going to be the least used palette because I'm like, I don't wear purple eyeshadow. No. It's funny to me that it's the Muse that's kind of like the pinky leaning neutral one, and this one I use more than that. A lot of it is these shades here and the other ones across the top, constantly in them, especially for work, they're fabulous. But I really feel like these 2 shades, when I do dip into them, they are so much easier for me to wear when it comes to like a purple eyeshadow than so many others that I've tried. They don't make me look like I got punched in the eye. They don't actually bring out a lot of the darkness. And maybe I'm using a better color corrector. Maybe I just don't care. I don't know what it is, but this eyeshadow palette has really, really surprised me. The one thing I do wish is that there is a topper shade in here. Yes, it does look like a topper, but I wish it was a little bit more pigmented. This guy here, I wish it was just a little bit more oomph to it. But this one, every time I reach for it, I get beautiful looks and I really like it. All right, the one that's kind of right smack dab in the middle, not the 2 that I use the least, not the 2 that I use the most, is the Cinnabar palette. This is beautiful. Warm neutrals. I was debating between using this one or the Amelie from Viseart today. And I'll tell you, I open it up for this shade here all the time. This is called Fired Earth. This is such a beautiful, intense, but not black deep color. And it blends to perfection. I love, love, love. I feel like this shade here is a little bit on the kind of orangey side for me. It is very much a copper, almost like a penny color. I don't always love that, especially now. I know that warm eyeshadows had a moment and we were all wearing them, whether they were flattering or not. I'm kind of glad that I'm not riding the trend train anymore. I'm wearing what I like and what looks good on me. And this one looks great on me. I love this one, but I'll tell you, I usually go for these guys. This one here is a favorite. I love all the mattes in here. They are impeccable. And I tend to kind of, you know, if I do this, this is how I wear this palette all the time. I really do enjoy this one because warm eyeshadows are something that I feel like I'm slowly easing out of, and I really am having a moment with cool toned eyeshadows. I feel like if it had been a year or a year and a half ago, I would be using the living daylights out of Cinnabar. These next two were featured in my best makeup of 2022, and I'm talking about the Sorcery palette and the Vega palette. Love. Love, love, love with my whole heart. This one here is an everyday workhorse. This one here in Moon Swirl and this one in Supernova are the ones I'm forever reaching for. They're so gorgeous. I do love, and this is weird, I normally don't like a black shadow. This black shadow here is so good. It blends from, and maybe some people would say it's not really a black, it's like an off black. Okay, fine. For someone who, the minute I put black eyeshadow on my eye, I look like a panda. I look like a raccoon. I look like, you know, I am recovering from a fist fight. It is not attractive on me. And I think the reason that this works so well is it is so extremely blendable. And then you can pull in a shade like this or a shade like this to kind of blend out the edge of it. And I feel that that's the one thing that's so great about a palette like this. I've always wanted to wear cool tones like this, especially gray tones. And every time I tried before now, it was not successful. Gray tones did not work on me, and it was because they didn't have the right undertones. And I don't know why that is, but the one thing that I have said before when Lisa is creating lipsticks, the shades, the colors, I feel like she has a master's eye for getting undertones. First of all, that are different than what we already have. I don't have like shades like this, and you would think how hard is it to make kind of like a cool toned brown, but there's something different about this one here. Both of these, they're so good. And I feel like, I don't know, and maybe I'm not purchasing those colors. There is something about having these in a small curated 6-pan, like here this is your perfect cool tone eyeshadow. And the fact that I can get grays and kind of blacks to work for me, it feels like magic. I don't know. I have never done it successfully up to this point. I always feel like it looks just a little bit off, or I have to be careful what lipstick I wear. I can wear whatever I want with this, whatever blush, whatever lipstick. Like, there is something magical about this. Part of it is like the black here, not the most pigmented, but that's good for me. If you want the blackest black, it's not this. I feel like what you get with this is not just the limited color palette and the beautiful formulas that blend with no effort. There's no fallout. I don't have to worry about little chunks of black underneath my eye. I love all of that so much, but I feel like you're getting a little bit more, and why I think these are worth it. For the first time in my life, at 48 years old, I can get grays, blacks, blues, greens, purples to work for me in a way that makes me feel confident. Man, that's worth a lot. Okay, so the last palette here, this one's my favorite. I've said it so many times. I love this palette. And when I was looking at the launch, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful, but that's not for me. Because look, blue, greens, like I'm always saying I don't wear these shades. Do you know how much I've been wearing this? Oh my goodness, my favorite, okay, I have a couple of favorites, but this one right here, so pretty. This one is called Grotto. Like, there is the hugest divot in here because I am forever doing this and swiping it on my eye. Another one that I am addicted to is this one here in Mage and Mercurial. This one's different because this one is kind of like the duochrome. It has a little bit of lavender, it has some gold to it, but somehow the minute you start putting all of these together on your eye, even this rich, intense blue, this one is so good. This one is in Swan Song. These are the shadows that I feel like there's a little bit of magic in here. I feel like I can create a look that I never would have thought with these shades are gonna look good. And they're so intriguing to me, but I was like, I can't wear that. They're stunning. And I always feel like I'm just becoming a peacock when I put these on my eyes. I love this. It doesn't make sense. It's not really my preference. It's not what I've used in the past. It's not what I've liked in the past, but somehow there's magic in this palette and it's amazing. All right, there we go. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know why I'm willing to jump through multiple hoops of things that I need to do to get these eyeshadows to work beautifully all day. But the minute I prime, the minute I use synthetic brushes, these eyeshadows from Lisa Eldridge are right up at the top. And when I want a fun beautiful or elegant look, I reach for one of these. On a day when I have like 7 minutes to get to work, I'm reaching for the Vega palette, or I'm reaching for the Cinnabar palette to do a really quick warm or cool neutral look. I really think these are great. I like the Viseart palettes. I think these are just so adorable, and it's nice to have, you know, the really sparkly, like over the top metallic shades from Give Me Glow. I am not mad at any of these purchases. I just have to purchase less eyeshadow in 2023, use what I already have, and I think it's time to start a declutter because I have too many eyeshadow palettes. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what new eyeshadows you've been trying. It doesn't have to be new to the market. Maybe you purchased it after thinking about it for years. I've done that recently too. But let me know what you're loving, what you're reaching for, and how do you handle bolder colors, colors that put you outside of your comfort zone. I'd love to know in the comment section down below. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.